There's an animal living near your house right now. It flies at night. It sleeps upside down. It can carry over 100 different viruses at the same time and feel completely fine about it. And there's a decent chance one of them caused the biggest global health crisis in a century. I'm not talking about some exotic creature deep in the Amazon jungle. I'm talking about bats. The little guys hanging in your attic. The ones flying around your backyard at dusk. The ones you've definitely walked past without a second thought. And today, we're going to talk about what they're carrying, how it gets to you, and, most importantly, what you can do before it does. Let's start with the basics. Bats are not birds. They are mammals, just like you and me. They breathe air, they have bones, they give birth to live young, and they nurse their babies with milk. The only difference is they can fly. And they've decided that sleeping upside down in a dark cave with 1 million of their closest friends is a perfectly reasonable lifestyle choice. There are over 1,400 species of bats in the world. They live on every continent except Antarctica, because even bats have standards. And here's something most people don't know. Bats are actually incredibly important for the planet. A single bat can eat up to 1,000 insects in 1 hour. Your bug zapper can't even dream of those numbers. They pollinate plants. They spread seeds. Without bats, some of your favorite fruits, mangoes, bananas, guavas, would seriously struggle to exist. So bats are not the villain of this story, but they do carry something that is. Here's where things get uncomfortable. Bats are, scientifically speaking, the single greatest reservoir of viruses on Earth. Scientists have identified over 4,000 different coronaviruses in bats alone. They carry rabies. They carry Nipah. They carry Marburg. They carry Hendra. They carry Ebola. And yes, the original source of COVID-19 is widely linked to bats. Now you might be asking the obvious question, how is this animal not dead? If I was carrying that many viruses, I'd be in a hospital bed for the rest of my life. But bats? Bats are fine, flying around, eating insects, living their best life. The answer is one of the most fascinating things in all of biology. Bats have a supercharged immune system unlike anything else on the planet. When a bat flies, its body temperature shoots up to the same level as a high fever every single night. And instead of fighting that heat, their immune system learned to work with it. They basically run a permanent fever as a side effect of flying. And that fever, it kills most viruses before they can cause damage. But here's the twist. The viruses that survive inside a bat have been forced to become extremely heat resistant, which makes them incredibly strong, which makes them extremely dangerous to any animal that doesn't have a bat's supercharged immune system, like us. Okay, so bats carry dangerous viruses, and their immune system makes those viruses stronger. Now let's talk about how this actually reaches you in your daily life, because the risk isn't just in some faraway jungle cave. Risk number 1, touching a bat. This one sounds obvious. Don't touch bats. But here's the thing. Most people who get infected by bats weren't trying to pick one up. They found a bat on the ground. Maybe it looked hurt. Maybe it looked lost, and they tried to help it. Here's the rule. A bat on the ground in the daytime is not okay. Healthy bats do not land on the ground during daylight hours. If you see one, that bat is likely sick, and a sick bat is the most dangerous bat. Do not touch it. Even with gloves, call animal control. Risk number 2, a bat in your house. This happens more than you think. Bats can squeeze through a gap as small as half an inch. Half an inch. That's smaller than your thumb. They get into attics, into walls, sometimes directly into living rooms. And here's the scary part about this one. Bat bites are tiny. They can bite you in your sleep, and you might not even feel it. You might not even see the mark in the morning, which means if you wake up and there's a bat in your room, even if you feel totally fine, you need to talk to a doctor. Because rabies, once symptoms appear, is almost always fatal. Risk number 3, partially eaten fruit. In many parts of the world, including parts of Asia, Africa, and even some areas of the Americas, bats feed on fruit at night. They bite into it. They drop it. Sometimes that fruit makes it to a market, sometimes it makes it to your plate. If fruit has visible bite marks or damage you can't explain, don't eat it. Risk number 4, being near bat droppings. Bat droppings, called guano, can carry a fungal disease called histoplasmosis. You can get it just by breathing in dust near large amounts of bat droppings. Attics with bats, old barns, caves, even some old buildings. If you're working in these spaces, wear a proper mask. So we know bats carry viruses. We know how they can reach you. But how does a virus go from living peacefully inside a bat to causing a global pandemic?
Scientists call it spillover, and it usually doesn't happen in one jump. Here's how it typically works. A bat carrying a virus comes into contact with another animal, a pig, a civet cat, a camel. That middle animal is called an intermediate host. The virus mutates slightly inside that intermediate host. It adapts. It gets a little better at surviving in mammals that aren't bats. Then a human comes into contact with that intermediate host through a market, a farm, a slaughterhouse, and the virus takes its next step. Nipah virus did exactly this. Bats to pigs to humans in Malaysia. SARS did this. Bats to civet cats to humans in China. COVID-19 followed a similar pathway. And here's the part nobody wants to hear. As humans continue to destroy natural habitats, cutting down forests, building into wild areas, bats are forced to live closer to human populations, which means more contact, which means more chances for spillover. We didn't just stumble into their world, we built our houses next to theirs. Okay, enough scary stuff. Let's talk about what you can actually do. Number 1, never handle a bat with bare hands. Ever, under any circumstances. If you must move one, use thick leather gloves, a container, a towel, and still call a doctor afterward. Number 2, bat-proof your home. Check for gaps larger than ½ inch in your roof, walls, attic vents, and chimney. Seal them, especially in spring and fall when bats are looking for roosting spots. Number 3, if a bat is in your bedroom, get a rabies evaluation. Don't wait for symptoms. Rabies symptoms appear weeks or months after infection. By then, it's almost always too late. If there's any chance a bat made contact with you while you slept, go see a doctor. The rabies vaccine series is very effective if started early. Number 4, consider the rabies vaccine if you're high risk. If you work with animals, go caving regularly, or travel to areas where rabies is common. Talk to your doctor about pre-exposure vaccination. It's worth it. Number 5, don't eat fruit with unexplained damage. Simple rule. If it looks bitten, don't eat it. Number 6, wear a mask in bat-heavy environments. Old buildings, caves, attics. If there's guano around, wear an N95. Histoplasmosis is real and more common than people think. Here's the thing about bats. They are not out to get you. They are not evil. They are not flying directly toward your face with bad intentions. They are just animals, incredibly successful, evolutionarily ancient animals, doing exactly what they have always done. The problem isn't bats. The problem is proximity. Every time we push further into wild spaces, cutting down forests, building where wild animals once lived, we force animals like bats into closer contact with us. And viruses that were perfectly content living inside a bat in a remote cave now have a much shorter road to find a new host. The solution isn't to kill bats. In fact, killing bat populations makes things worse. It disrupts ecosystems, allows insect populations to explode, and stresses remaining bats, which actually increases the rate at which they shed viruses. The solution is distance, respect, and knowing exactly what to do when that distance closes, because now you do. So next time you see a bat flying at dusk, maybe don't panic, just don't touch it. And maybe double check that your attic has no ½ inch gaps.